What is up, guys? Kevin Cage back with another XRP update. So in this video, it's an absolute must-see. We will be talking about Avalanche, one of the consensus mechanisms for Flare networks. And as an example, right here, they show $800 trillion of dormant capital, locked or trapped liquidity that is just sitting there. So my bet is this: whichever asset, company, network, or protocol releases this dormant capital will absolutely explode because it is solving a real purpose. And again, the fragmented financial system, the fragmented system as a whole, even outside of finance, but just data, is a massive issue. So please keep that in mind and stick around for this video. Also, guys, I just want to preface this. So I know the market is down today. Emotions are low. Typically with ups and downs, I get it. It is an absolute emotional roller coaster. But keep this in mind, and I'm speaking for myself, and I'm sure a lot of people, essentially agree with the sentiment, but I believed in XRP's success and the price regardless of the current price. I believed in its success when we were at 11 cents in March 2020. I believed in it when I first found it in early 2017. Unlike most that only believe in their asset when it's up 20% plus on the day, I believed in it when we were $3, almost $4 plus, and then even like at 60 cents recently, within just a few months ago. So current price does not distract me. I am just understanding that it is a waiting game. And the same goes for all of my alts. I know it's good to see that a lot of people are paying more attention to HBAR and Algorand and ADA and QNT and XLM and any other asset for that matter. But remember, all the assets like that you're looking at now are all up several 100% right now thanks to Bitcoin and different moves. Well, the people and investors that had the biggest gains, they looked at those assets well before everybody else and they bought them when nobody else wanted to. That is what makes the most successful investor. So keep that in mind. I know many already know that, but just food for thought. All right. So this video is an absolute must-see, guys. If you want to fast forward, that is fine, but please listen to the last 30 seconds of this one. This is Tom Emmer. We need more people like him representing us in the United States. So this clip, absolute gold. Tom says it better than I ever could, and this is an absolute gem. I did retweet the actual full YouTube video. Bank XRP's channel, please subscribe if you have not done so already. Essentially, the deepest and longest record of XRP and Ripple company related archives dated years ago. So I typically, not recently, but I like to go back and watch videos that are really old and then kind of, go back and forth and see what has changed, who's pivoted, what new competitors, things of that nature. So anyways, listen to this.
I've been working on this since I came to Congress, and I've been working on it because I have a staff that is incredibly committed to looking forward, to looking to what the future provides, rather than having a government which, quite frankly, has been used by different actors in different marketplaces to leverage their bottom line. In other words, to protect the status quo. This is not the status quo. This is looking forward. This is where we're headed. The Financial Services Committee in the U.S. House of Representatives has, quite frankly, been leading Congress's investigation into digital assets and blockchain technology. However, the benefits, as you point out, Julie, go far beyond the, quote, money aspect of digital assets and cryptocurrencies. The real value is in the idea of an open public network that's not simply limited to currency, securities, or commodities. Bitcoin was the first implementation of a network open to the public, reinforced by its own participants, and capable of letting two participants interact with no middleman. Imagine a world where we can actually have trade value for value without having a middleman that takes some percentage of that deal. That's what I was talking about earlier, eliminating the friction of a payment system
And think, even beyond payment systems, all the big players, all these huge firms that are intermediaries in the real estate market, in, law firms, things of that nature, that essentially are just big bullies, they're parasites, they get fees that in the future will not be required whatsoever. This is going to level the playing field, and yes, it threatens all of the big tier 1 banks and the big players today, but guess what? It cannot be stopped, and it is coming. It is simply a matter of time.
Efficiency of settlements that could save billions of dollars and, quite frankly, introduce a whole bunch of new people that currently are underserved and underbanked.
And remember, unbanked and underbanked populations, essentially a total sum of close to 3 billion people. Can you understand what happens with multiplier effects, with Jevons paradox, when mobile banking and everything starts skyrocketing? That's why I'm excited. And people say, Like, most people think you're owning crypto as just a purely speculative asset. But when I own crypto, this is what I'm thinking of every single time. I'm thinking of the utility that will drive the future of essentially all of global finance, for that matter.
Like I said, it goes beyond money. That's the revolutionary aspect of this technology. The idea that we can develop an open network in which we, the individual, controls our own data. We, the individual, again, can freely interact with each other without having to trust gatekeepers or some centralized control mechanism. That idea could be one of the most major breakthroughs of our lifetime, and imagine what it'll do for the future.
And that pumps me up so much, guys. Tom Emmer, go check him out as well. So I just wanted to point that out. This is absolutely massive. Of course, there's drama, and I'm sure you guys are well aware of, just watching Facebook and, all the privacy battles. And of course, we saw Facebook lobbying $5 million in the last video in just Q4 alone. And yes, I mean, it's happening. There is a massive, massive battle right now. It's not even just in the banking space. Of course, we know that it's XRP versus Bitcoin, but then on a deeper level, it's also against maybe groups like Ethereum and Consensus, or JPM coin, or China's digital currency now, or Facebook Libra. It truly is just a multi-dimensional geopolitical game of chess. And it's, bankers, it's corporations, it's open source networks, it's everywhere. So it is absolutely crazy. And yes, I know it is chaotic, but there's going to breed so much opportunity. And I am betting that the open networks win every single time, just like David Schwartz has explained exactly how. So just wanted to share that. All right. Right here, Cathie Long, guys, as you know, she was essentially the founder of Avanti, one of the first crypto banks in the United States, alongside with even Kraken, as you're well aware. And also, she has, a record, of course, 22-year Wall Street veteran as well. And now, listen to this. So I know you guys have heard all the GameStop stock drama skyrocketing. My friends hit me up, telling me about it. I wish I got in. Oh, well, just a typical pump and dump. We're used to, crypto for that matter. Well, I'm not going to say a pump and dump, but what I'm going to say is just massive pumps. And as we've seen in the last 2 years, it's no surprise at this point. But right here, and this is another example why distributed ledger technology is the absolute answer in future. Per the GameStop stock drama, Appel flagged this fact: 138% of its float was sold short. That's naked shorting. So there's the fraud, folks. A dishonest ledger system. It allowed more shares to be sold than actually existed. Can you imagine if this just keeps happening on a regular basis with different organizations, with Tesla, with Amazon, with a variety of Fortune 500 companies? That is, insane amounts of money. And just like I tell you guys, market capitalization is fairy dust. It does not exist. It's a fugazi, as they say in Wolf of Wall Street, because all market cap is circulating supply times, that current market value. That value does not actually exist in the market in terms of liquidity, right? As JP Morgan did the study several years ago at this point, and I talk about it religiously on this channel, they showed that, when the market is, $300 billion worth, like total crypto market cap, there's only about a $50 billion of total liquidity in the system. So it really makes you wonder, all right? So just be aware, in all of this, all the good news, the bad news is driving us to the inevitable adoption of DLT. All right, right here, Crypto Whale, of course, take it with a grain of salt, and I just want to show you his page because I don't know if you can see it. So Crypto Whale, definite follow. Just wanted to share this briefly. So the 2008 financial crisis was caused by corrupt financial institutions. Of course, we know them. One of my favorite movies is The Big Short. Go watch it if you haven't already. If you're watching this channel, or you're into crypto or stocks, I assume it's one of your favorite movies as well. And we can see, look at this little triangle. So right here, Morgan Stanley says Bitcoin is a great buy right now, predicts surge to $200,000 by late 2021. These are the headlines that everyday people are seeing. JP Morgan sees US 146,000 plus Bitcoin prices long-term target. Your grandma's seeing this. Oh, should I buy Bitcoin? I am not buying Bitcoin at these levels. I would much rather buy an alt that is sleeping and has not popped yet. That's just me, such as XRP, and continue to dollar cost average. JP Morgan turns bullish on Bitcoin, citing potential long-term upside. When all these articles came out, I saw UBS and other Ripple partners saying, be careful, crypto can go to zero. So we're seeing some of these 146K calls and then zero. You're getting it from every angle, guys. It's a joke, just getting the clicks. So Deutsche Bank, again, one of the banks that are too big to fail, strategist predicts crypto could replace fiat money. Well, of course it could. in terms of some of the actions it does for cross-border transfers and domestic use cases, but I still think that fiat will be here, unless it's simply just a central bank digital currency that is more digitized. That's it. Why America's biggest bank is suddenly very bullish on Bitcoin. Will 2021 see 318K for Bitcoin? Who do you think these hedge funds and institutions are that are putting out these articles, guys? Time and time again, history may not repeat, but it often does rhyme. All right? Next, I wanted to show you this. So if this does not paint a picture of connecting public and private blockchains in the future, I do not know what to tell you. This asset class will swallow all others. This was Brian Brooks back in September. And now keep in mind, yes, I'm aware that he's talking about a variety of networks such as USDC as well, but this does not take away how much volume is in these systems. And of course, these successful projects are going to explode. There's no in between. So keep in mind right here, even January sees $237 billion in monthly stablecoin volume. Apologies for the audio quality from, this is my Greek buddy, and I want you guys to listen to this. This is mind-boggling, saying that the US isn't really, or they have a plan for like 2024, but the UK already has a settlement system. We cannot be like, we cannot fall behind Japan, the UK, Singapore. It is ridiculous. So we have to adopt some of the technology that we have now. If the government cannot innovate, we have to adopt successful private companies that exist today, if you know what I'm saying. The infrastructure is available and it is also open source. As we know, the SEC years ago also has a validator on the XRP ledger. Interesting. Listen up.
Well, let's unpack a couple of things you've said, Rachel. So, the Fed is working on a project that'll be ready in 2024. Let's just pause on that for a moment. 2024. Today is 2020. The United Kingdom already has a real-time payment system in 2020. And America, the leader of the financial services world, will have it in 2024. I think that's unacceptable from a competitive standpoint, right? This country is a leader in two industries in the world at the moment, financial services and technology. The idea that we're going to allow Singapore, China, the UK, and the EU to leapfrog us in terms of faster payments, much the way that other countries got 5G telecommunications long before we're ever going to have that, should give us pause. It should really give us pause. And so the question I have is, when real-time payments technology is available today, in the form of private blockchains that already exist and are transacting $350 or $400 billion of market cap every day, I guess I ask myself, why do we want to wait for those things? So, you mentioned some of these bank-owned payment networks, which are far from real time, which have chargeback risk, which have error rates and things like that. And I just question whether those are good enough for the modern economy. I mean, there's a reason when Chairman Chris Giancarlo left.
Exactly, and I love what Brian Brooks has done. He has some big shoes to fill, so we'll see if they can keep that momentum up. Nonetheless, this is just future or additional proof of ledgers being the absolute future. Distributed ledgers. They're not going to solve every problem, but they're absolutely going to solve a lot of the fraud in the financial system. There's no debating that whatsoever. All right, maybe there will be some massive financial crash this year or next year, and that'll validate the further rollout of this technology. As always, there's always a narrative to be told. If you think that's a conspiracy or, conspiratorial like thought, that's fine, but anything's possible. I just like bouncing ideas. All right, so we'll keep going here. Also, well-known RippleNet partner, remember, they're connected to the top 48 of the top 50 banks in the world, 9,000 clients. We can see right here, Finastra and HCL partner to provide digital treasury as a service in the cloud. Of course, cloud is rampant, essentially almost just, wide scale and adopted already, as it should be for redundancy. But interesting to see some digital treasury as a service. We'll keep an eye on this. I'm not saying it has anything to do with Ripple per se. What I'm saying is there's efficiencies being built into the system. All right. Next, Wrath Economan, definite follow in the XRP community. I get it. Why Litecoin? Related to obviously Flare Networks doing some of the token distribution to Litecoin, XRP and all of this. Now this is interesting, and I love that he takes his thoughts and really expounds. So because it's a liquid top 10 cryptocurrency that traps a lot of value. Remember, Flare, what is it doing? It's freeing trapped value. Do you understand? I mean, it even says right there, unlocking value. I didn't even see that. But what happens in this market is, and I'll show you in a second, that $800 trillion right there. And yes, I know the derivatives market is highly intangible. Eventually, when that money can be freed and liquidity develops, I think it can be much more than this. Even apply Jevons paradox to an increase in efficiency will lead to an increase in consumption in economics. So there's very exciting things. It's going to be, some people are going to think this is all speculation, and they can come back to me in the years, later, and they're going to call me lucky. I won't be. And I have not been lucky thus far. So Flare X, so right here, all of which can be captured in Flare network system. That Flare, this is the Spark token, FLR. Right now it is on bittrue.com as an IOU, and there's going to be more distributions, guys, in the future. I'm excited to get more Spark token because obviously I claimed as many as I could with my XRP holdings, and I may even buy some in the future, just because from the collateralization aspect, and everyone wants to have a valuable network, it could be very, very exciting. And FYI, for all XRP holders, just so you fully understand, when I talk about Flare, when I talk about the smart contract capability and, Avalanche consensus, if Flare succeeds, in my opinion, XRP will skyrocket. Absolutely. So, Flare XRP holders received in the airdrop just got more valuable. If all goes well, I imagine there will be a number of coins to come with Flare. I agree. So that Flare holders will receive. Yep. And now what I'd recommend doing is just looking at the market capitalization of each of these assets, looking at XRP where it's at now, looking at ETH. And ETH is doing absolutely phenomenal. It's doing a lot better in terms of liquidity in a lot of the ERC20 DeFi tokens, but there's still a lot of room, and we want to break the dams between these ecosystems, and then the money can flow much, much better. We know, Stellar, Algo, Solana with the USDC, but we still have a long way to go, and there's so much value that is locked up. And I'm not even talking about crypto, people. I'm talking about locked up value in a variety of other assets and any type of derivative that derives its value from something else, such as a security or tokenized real estate. So now listen to this quick clip right here, about 20 seconds. We'll keep going.
The global financial fabric is composed of fragmented markets due to regulatory and geographical differences. Until
all right, so fragmented, they're all blocked off.
now, there has been no easy way to create and trade digital assets in a legally compliant way. In fact, there is over $800 trillion in world value of assets, yet there is not a unified global marketplace for them. What if we could reimagine financial markets as a unified global network, where deploying assets were as easy as sending an email? What if exchanging financial products was unified, so one could trade equities, commodities, alternative assets, and more, all on the same global platform? AVA is the infrastructure to make this possible by enabling any financial network to plug into one universal platform. Welcome to the Internet of Assets, a global financial network.
So think, enablement. They are just enablers, financial enablers, just like Ripple, the company, with RippleNet allowing, remittance users to actually lower the fees. This is another asset. Now, interestingly enough, we can go through all of this too, buddy. Right here, guys, this is the white paper. Now, remember, we went through Snowball, of course, very interesting if you control F on, AVAX, and just kind of look through Snowball and Avalanche Consensus and Snowflake and all these terms that they use. And it is just kind of very peculiar that, of course, Bearable Guy, and I'm not trying to be conspiratorial. I know there's going to be dislikes because I'm showing Bearable Guy, but it is weird that he's had these pictures up for so long showing snowballing or this avalanche. And again, this is the consensus mechanism that Flare is using. And we know that David Schwartz is a big fan as well. We can see right here, you and Brad just talking about Flare, combining the best of XRP, Ethereum, and AVAX. And guys, please understand this. The success of Flare networks has no negative implications on XRP. If you understand what's going on, if you've been watching the Flare community videos, you read the Flare blog, you watch everything you can, and listening to Mickey B. Fresh as well, break things down, which I'm excited to see in the future, specifically more in May when we can actually apply things, hopefully if all is on schedule. You are excited and understand that this is all just demand for XRP. Holding, like CDPs, collateralized debt positions, holding and locking XRP up, that has a multiplier effect. It creates scarcity, and what happens when there's more demand and there's scarcity? Price goes up, all right? So very, very exciting, and I just wanted to point that out. All right, also, you can follow here on Twitter, Flare Networks. You can go to the website, flare.xyz. I saw a few comments in my video the other day asking, hey, Kevin, when am I getting my Flare tokens? I did it this way or on this exchange. I encourage all of you to go to Flare and just read the actual blog on the token distribution back in November 23rd. This should answer everything if you did use a participating exchange, which I actually did for some of my accounts just to diversify and, play with it. BitTrue, Kraken, Binance US, Coinbase, whatever you had. If you had your crypto on the day of their snapshot in late December, you should be good to go. And then they're going to be distributing it later on this year. So all good and great, guys. We know that Flare, or Spark, I should say, has been absolutely pumping. And yes, I know it's early days, anything can happen, but nonetheless, very exciting and crazy that we saw Flare pass the price of XRP. Now, some newbies might think that's a bad thing. I am so happy about that. I hope it keeps going. I don't care which one's higher as long as they both go very, very high. All right. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. Again, I encourage you, if you have time, the Internet of Assets, to go look into AVAX. I've shown this video a lot. This was all the way from April and a lot has changed, but I am just beyond excited. And again, just to break it down in layman's terms, from my point of view, Flare is combining the best of XRP, very fast settlements, efficient payments and transactions, right? That's why we love XRP, Ethereum with smart contracts, if-then statements, programmable money, and then Avalanche for consensus, how they reach agreement on which transactions have or have not happened. So we are actually doing an internet of, enablement and cooperation that will actually create better technology, better use cases for all of its users in this world of finance. So this is good. This is great. It's so comical that people think that Ripple's just getting into DeFi. You guys, you have to pay attention closely to what's happening, because this could be a sleeping giant that will literally, all these other DeFi guys, I like DeFi and I actually hold a variety of DeFi tokens just in case they absolutely explode further. But I feel like a lot of people are going to start peeping and looking at Flare later on, and it can come out of nowhere. If this is actually interoperable with RippleNet and, line of credit, we're going to have a fantastic year. And yes, I'm not turning a blind eye to the lawsuit I'm watching. Of course, February 22nd, I believe, is the next date. But just keeping up with this, guys. Stay focused. Remember, sharpen your sword in the meantime while you're waiting. Level up your knowledge. Learn how to trade whatever you can do, and stay patient. Appreciate it. Links are in the video description, and I will catch you in the next one.